Welcome back to drivenmavens.com. My name is Arvin. Today we are going to touch on a topic on how to generate shapes and forms using a really sweet software here called Alchemy. So I'm starting off here. I just downloaded it, and I'm just kind of jumping in right now, uh, just starting to create some shapes. And what Alchemy really allows you to do is to uh, really just create randomness instead of, as opposed to taking your brush and kind of planning things out and trying to sketch something, sketch a shape that's really cool. Alchemy does not allow you to do that. It doesn't even allow you to erase, for that matter, and try to get things perfect. So the idea behind Alchemy is really to find some treasures out of randomness, and that's what's really cool. So I've started off here and just trying to draw some shapes, and you can pick little uh, brushes that give you tons of different options here. Right up here, I can preserve the transparency or change the transparency up at the top, and here I'm just trying to get a little bit of a, I guess, indicate a wheel or something. And the other thing that's really nice about it is that though it's pretty random, there's certain brushes and tools that you can use that will allow you to be a little bit more precise. Not a whole lot, but I think what's really nice is that it allows you to get formulate a little bit of a different technique. So when you're finishing off your drawings, or you're trying to come up with a really quick sketch, you can bring it into Alchemy, get a very rough rendering in, or just a rough sketch in. I would say sketch instead of rendering, but get a rough sketch in, and then bring that into Photoshop, and then start tweaking things in Photoshop. But what's really nice is just the plainer brush strokes that you're getting. Everything's just kind of hit with planes and edges, and really cool effect. I've never really used anything like this, and I think it really does help to generate different ideas. So I'm taking, you can go in and change different colors, and now I've kind of identified some wheels. There's an open wheel there in the front, and just putting in the cut line for a door or something. None of this is really precise. Your objective is not to create something that's just hot right off the start. The objective is to really, if you're having trouble generating ideas for shapes, Alchemy allows you to generate those ideas, and without a lot of effort, because every time you put a brushstroke in, you get some random order of what it looks like. Now, the challenge is to take those random brushstrokes and to make something out of it, right? You can have a mess. And I remember back in school that we used to do similar exercises like this, where you would take your pencil or your marker or your paint, and you just start throwing some crap. Just start throwing paint down there on the paper, or just to get some randomness. I remember doing those exercises in some of the art classes that I took. But that's why this is so interesting, because right now is they've created a software to do exactly just that, is to create a lot of randomness, and try to find something, some shape, or visualize something that you can actually use out of that. Because the biggest problem that I've got right now is that every time I draw a car, it looks like the same thing, same car over and over and over again. So how do you break that? How do you find different ways and different ideas to be able to get different shapes? It's always a challenge, and sometimes you don't want to break away because you don't think you're going to be able to come up with something cool unless you draw something, from your head that sort of resembles something else. So here I am, just kind of roughing more things and just placing in my wheels, and the wheels are, I know they're totally out of whack. They're not quite in the right perspective, and I kind of started off like that. And these can all be tweaked later in Photoshop. You can bring them in Photoshop and then correct them. I'm just going to keep going here. Change color. You can go in, I can start adding, a little bit of details, and nothing really too fancy here. I'm identifying a certain portion of it that has a little bit of a darker value, and I'm just kind of tracing over that and seeing whether I can get a little bit of a tail light there, some indication for it. I'm still, as I start to sketch through it, it's just really quite interesting just to see the type of brush strokes that you get. They are so non-conventional and so different than what I'm used to, that in itself, to get something like that and to be able to manipulate it or to make sense out of it, is a challenge in itself. But it's a fun challenge. I have absolutely, when I'm picking these brushes, I have no idea what they're going to do. I have no clue. And I think that's part of, that mystery is actually what's bringing a little bit more interest into it. Because as soon as you start to add a little bit of pressure, you don't quite know what you're going to get. And you just got to work with it. That's why I say that when you use Alchemy, it's just a great way to just generate some ideas and some quick sketches. But then after that, you don't, you can bring that in and start to tweak all that into Photoshop and get something that you can refine and make it better, make it a little bit more realistic. But for this exercise, my point is really to make you all aware of what's out there and what's out there for free. That's the best part of this. I mean, this software is available for anybody to download and to try. They don't have to pay a single cent, which is always great. I mean, we're all trying to find ways to save money and so forth, especially when you're going to school. School's expensive, so any design aid or educational tool that you could use and something of quality to your benefit is something you should take advantage of. Okay, a different color, and this is kind of taking a little bit longer than what I would expect. As at the same time, I'm going through the drawing and I'm trying to think, what can I do to this thing? And I'm not quite sure because I don't know what kind of effect I'm going to get in the end of it as I'm using it. It's odd. It's a very odd, weird, uncomfortable feeling, but it's a welcomed discomfort. Anything that's that's different, or it has to change your style a little bit, is better for you. The more you deviate from your norm is always going to be better for you, because it challenges your mind to be able to tackle problems differently or use tools differently. It's always a plus. Expanding your horizons, that's the key. Using different tools, using different ways of looking at things. Start indicating a little bit of detail here in the front. Just put some tread. White's probably not the best thing to use, but remember, as you're working with Alchemy, you cannot erase. What you put down is what you put down. So you can't really tweak anything. Or you can't, I guess, correct anything, which is the whole basis of this software, because they don't want you to correct anything. There's beauty in your mistakes. Or at least you have to make some beauty out of your mistakes. It's good stuff. I mean, this software just rocks. And I'm using brushes here that actually give me a little bit more control. There's I'll probably do another tutorial just to show you what the brushes are and what you can get out of them. But I think for this use, you can get some very cool effects, and that's what I want some of you guys to do. Some of you guys who have joined the Facebook fan page, I encourage you to download the software, or who go to the website, download the software and create something interesting, or just create something a little bit different and experiment, and post it up on the fan page. I'm totally cool with that. Let us see what you can come up with. Probably a lot better than what I'm doing here, for sure. Hey, my objective is to to bring some awareness to the tools here. Now you get a little more definition, get some reflections here. Nothing big, nothing that fancy, not a big deal. I'm just, thinking, what can I do that if I can invest a little bit more time on this, what can I get out of this? I think it could be some pretty cool outcomes on this. I do all these vintage race car stuff, and I'm already formulating in my head, what if I tried to use this software to do something a little bit different and make some drawings that have a different style to it, a little bit of disorder, per se, I guess. Okay. I'm trying to finish up the top and just define the glass area. Trying to figure out what I can possibly do. It's always a tough thing when you're drawing and trying to, you're trying to think about what you're trying to do, but at the same time you want to crank through this stuff and not think too much. You want to just get something on there. And I'm looking at this and thinking, this is looking like some of the same stuff. How do I get something a little bit different out of this? But, okay. Get there the center line, which is, now that I look at it, that center line is a little off. It should be to the left a little bit more, but can't erase it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one, and download Alchemy, and see you here next time on drivenmavens.com.